Welcome to Late Night Bride. I'm your hostess, Peggy Kelly, and we have a wonderful show for you tonight. We have the one, the only, Toby Dodge. Now you're asking, who's Toby Dodge? If you're in the wedding world, you know Toby Dodge. She is a teacher, an expert in weddings, has her own business, and now, more than ever, she's important because she has her own online planning platform. You say, why is that important? You just wait and see. So sit back, relax, get your cup of tea, and let's get planning. But most of all, let's just have some fun. So see you back in a minute for Toby Dodge and Prepared. Cheers. Welcome back to Late Night Bride. I'm your hostess, Peggy Kelly. And Toby Dodge has so many credentials, I brought notes just to get them all in. So let's just take it from the top. Over 1,000 couples personally benefited from Toby's experience. Oh my goodness. How about speaking engagements, seminars? She's been featured in People, Inside Weddings, Ceremony, LA Times. Has she missed any publications? I don't think so. Here Comes the Guide is always a good one. But her real heart, and this is what I know about her, is her true love of weddings, but her true love of couples. And so I have the great honor of introducing the one, the only, Toby Dodge.
Thank you so much. It's
welcome.
terrific to be here, and especially with you.
We have done this together a long time. Now, just a little fun note. Don't you love that we're both on trend now?
Yes.
We both have, you know, the hair that
We've
everybody...
gone al natural.
We've gone al natural. And we have the hair that everybody stops and says, I love your hair, right? And that the young people are trying to get.
That's right.
And the only way you can get this is time and experience. And we've got both.
We've earned it.
We've earned it. So that's our little fun moment, you know. And then the other one I always love is two ladies walk into a bar, and you know, after that, game on. So it's wedding season, you know. Although it's always wedding season, isn't it?
Well, especially in Southern California, we're very lucky that we have almost an entire year
of it. And when you, I realize that you've been in this industry for a very long time, and you've seen everything at one time or another.
I really think that I just happened to come into this industry at a very important moment.
And what was the pivot?
Well, in the late 80s is when I started. It was just a beginning of a time that brides were beginning to use their computers, believe it or not.
Is that when they came in?
Yes, that's when word processing and fax machines and cell phones and all the things that in some way today we think
have always been there.
always been there. And I can tell you that I saw the very beginning of that arc.
Right.
And I believe now we've almost completed a new arc in the last 10 and especially the last 5 years.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Couples are much more savvy. They have a good idea of what they want, and if they don't, they know how to get it.
Well, they research it to death.
Yes, they do.
And that's said with a very loving heart, because the whole premise behind Late Night Bride is to get you offline and back into your engagement, because online has become your life.
Well, that's so true in so many ways. I physically have had couples sit in front of me and I say, let's make a pact that you pick 2 nights a week to not talk about the wedding.
Right.
And one time during the week to actually go out and do something that has nothing related to the wedding. Because over time, especially now when couples can really create anything they want, a lot of time is given to research, whether it's online or offline. And so their whole conversations gravitate to it. They can't help it.
Right. It's like the third person in this couple.
Yeah, or the elephant in the room.
Or the elephant in the room, as the case may be. I see it where a couple comes in, and you really need to know we're both still working planners. And I am, Toby, not so much.
I'm more in consulting.
You're in consulting and teaching and a whole nother world we're going to talk about a little bit later. But I'm still a working planner. And what that means is I have couples that will come in with their laptops. And so it's me, them, and 2 laptops having a conversation. And it's like, it's the wildest thing. It's, it's like, can we just like talk here? Just a little bit, just let me talk. And they say, well, I want to show you this. And it's like, fine. And it's great to have inspiration.
Yeah.
But the other part is, how does it make you feel? And they're like, no, just look at this. It's like, no, how does it make you feel? And sometimes that's a difficult conversation for them to have.
I think even more than the ideas of trying to make sure that you know what they want.
Right.
The tendency is to do a lot of research, but not necessarily know what the costs and the time and energy that it will take to create that. So trying just to have an open rapport is the most important thing.
Right.
Because then everyone can be honest and open.
Right.
And that is one of the reasons I gravitated to thinking, what can I do in the future to help brides and grooms feel really comfortable about being verbal instead of showing.
Right.
And one of the ways was to create a new platform
Sure.
that gave them the chance to be more engaged with themselves, as we talked about earlier, and also to have a way to communicate as quickly and efficiently so that nobody is spending hours with emails.
We talked about this earlier, and about how much time, and you're brilliant about this. We did the rundown. Tell them, okay, so a couple emails you.
Yes.
Next step.
You want to answer their question, which oftentimes is simple, straightforward, perhaps a little naive, but the point is they just want to know what they need to do. And your head is full of all ideas and you want to give it to them, but they're thinking that it's a simple answer, and it rarely is. So oftentimes it takes up to 40 minutes to think through, decide what they absolutely need to know, and then to type it and send it.
Right.
And then you'll get another answer back. Well, what about this?
Sure, absolutely.
And it brings me great joy to answer all those questions. But if we had had a chance to have a conversation, I could probably have gotten through that in less than 10 minutes.
A lot of people say, how many hours does it take to plan a wedding? And I know the ABC, the Association of Bridal Consultants, estimated that it was 200 hours.
And you and I know that's
and you and
double.
I know that it's automatically double that. So if you have 400 hours that you don't have, that you want to invest in your wedding, we're here to let you know that you could do it in half of that, and probably even less. And we're gonna come back in just a minute, and we're gonna show you and tell you how to take those 400 hours and bring them down to something that's manageable and most of all that's fun. So we'll be back in a minute with Toby Dodge and lots of great information on how to plan your wedding, because you know what, as you're planning your wedding, you're also building your marriage, and we want you to build it together. So we'll be right back. Welcome back to Late Night Bride with Toby Dodge and Peggy Kelly. Remember, we were talking about the secret weapon of taking 400 hours and bringing it down to a really manageable way to plan your wedding? Well, here's the secret. It's called prepared. What better name to call something than prepared. You're prepared for your wedding day. So Toby's going to tell us all about how she came to create this, because I was there in the beginning when she first pitched it, and where it is today, and how it's really going to, you're going to help everybody. That's
the plan.
But that's the gift.
Yeah.
So tell us where it started, what it is, where it started, and how best everybody can really get prepared for their wedding day.
Well, I have to admit, it started from a selfish corner because I really wanted to still work with brides and grooms. And even though I don't physically plan the weddings any longer, I wanted to continue and find a way to help them because I was hearing a lot of overwhelming feelings. Sure. And how can I help them, if I'm not doing it personally? So I actually tested an idea that if I could figure out the right questions to ask brides and grooms and to figure out what level of service that they needed, just that one question, maybe that will give me a key to the rest. Mm-hmm. So I went to a few wedding fairs, right. Set up my little table with my books, which I was very proud that I had finally...
Tell them the name of the book.
Oh, The Other Side of the Aisle.
Absolutely. It's a must-read.
Thank you. And it really is a collection of stories that gently guide couples and hopefully their families to avoid problems. And then the first part of the book is being an entrepreneur. Right. So it's great for, I think, couples to know where we came from, why we get into this business. And I have an honest love of romance, and so I am.
You're a diehard romantic to the end.
I admit it.
Yeah. I've seen it in everything you do.
It's incurable.
Right. If romance is not there, you're not there.
So to that end, I asked at wedding fairs, who are the brave brides? I wanted to figure out if somebody would be honest with me and really answer the questions. Oh, nice. And so I said, I'm going to bribe you with a book. So if you'll answer these 8 questions, and it'll let you know what level of service I think you need, and a little bit about your personality, would that be okay?
Yeah, there you go.
And to my shock and surprise, every single bride or groom said, how did you get in my head? So I said, I must be doing something right after all these years. So to make a long story short, that was the first step. And I thought, well, if I could bring this online, if I could make it a business, mm-hmm. maybe I could attract enough couples that I could really help them.
Right.
I did my research, and I found that just helping them in one area wasn't enough. Mm-mm. It wasn't going to, frankly, be a stable business. And so I asked for help, and boy, did it come. And we're now 30 strong wow. on our team, and we'll be going live at the end of January.
And I remember when you brought it to the Association of Bridal Consultants. It was at, in Beverly Hills. We were at an ABC luncheon.
Yes.
And you presented the concept, and everyone in the room, all of us planners, were like, oh my goodness, eHarmony has just come to the wedding industry. And we were so grateful. We were so grateful.
Well, I hope so.
And we're excited. I mean, we're all in there with you. We're all cheering you on. We're helping wherever we can with our own services. Because really, at the end of it is we love weddings, but we love the couples more.
We do, and I think that's something that we often don't emphasize or advertise, frankly.
Right.
Because you have to love couples to be in this business.
Right.
You're seeing them through one of the most emotional and poignant times of their lives. And even though there's bound to be some stresses and strains because 2 families are coming together. Right. And when they come together, they're not that they have to be sparks, but there is compromise and understanding that has to occur. So I am thrilled that we have a vehicle, frankly, where couples and venues and vendors can all come. And what I like about it is everybody participates as far as having a questionnaire,
Right.
including their preferences on how they like to do business, and couples what they're looking for. Not only the linear information of how many people and where and when, but what they like as far as the atmosphere and the feeling. And all this comes through with these questions and indexes.
And it's hugely important because I know I get the inquiry, which is, please send me your packages for wedding planning, and I email back, and that's all they tell you. Not a date, not how many guests,
Right.
nothing. It's just send me your packages. I have yet to meet a couple that's a package. I tend to date my couples.
Yep.
I love to date them because it is a partnership.
Yes.
On it, and
Very much so.
and so we go to coffee. I meet with them several times. That's probably not the norm in our business, but I tend to do that because I'm going to be with them for the next 9 months to a year or longer.
Or longer.
And it really is a relationship.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and you touched on something, and I said it earlier. How we plan our wedding is how we build our marriage. So you have collaboration, you have communication, you have compromise, and you have negotiation, and all of those things are critically important. And through Prepared, I think a lot of that helps them to understand those dynamics in their relationship as they're picking their vendors, if they're going through the criteria of it, and they're really answering the questions that you ask, which are hugely important, hugely.
And the funny thing is, it's very hard to write the answers because the answers are fairly close together, but they reveal different qualities
Right.
and attitudes. So I often have heard, gee, these aren't easy questions. Well, they're not, but they're simple, but they're not easy. But those answers leave so much information so that there can be compatibility
Right.
with a venue or many vendors, including planners.
Right.
Planners do this as well, because you might have the most efficient planner, but if her sense of humor doesn't match yours, it's not going to be so much fun, you know? And ultimately, we want everyone to enjoy the process.
Absolutely.
So we added some features beyond the matching system. We have a messaging system,
Oh, that's fun.
which hopefully, as we have envisioned it, to save the real time, because you and I know that we can spend nearly 200 hours over the course of a year
Sure.
just with emailing and texting. I have to tell you, when you can go to one place, there are no question marks. Did they receive the message? Because they will. It'll be there, and all they have to do is find it. Or they can request to be text,
Absolutely.
and they'll know something is there for them. So there's an awful lot of features that make it easier on everyone. How often have we gotten to the last couple of weeks and someone's decided to expand their guest list, or it shrinks because of the responses? If a venue goes in, they'll see that immediately.
And this is just the beginning. We'll be right back because there's so many details that we're going to talk about that Prepared really helps you with that you probably haven't thought about. But we have, and Toby has, and her team has, and that's why it's critically important. So we'll be back in just a moment. And get ready because you're getting prepared. Welcome back to Late Night Bride and our guest, Toby Dodge. So we're going to talk about specifics,
Okay.
about how Prepared can prepare our couples for just a stress-free, effortless planning. Go for it.
Okay. Well, besides the matching system and our messaging system, we have planning tools. And one of them is on everybody's top list, and that is budgeting. What I like and what I really envisioned was to have a way for couples to kind of see organically as they make changes. Perhaps their priorities start up one way, but after they meet some services, it can change.
Absolutely.
So they have the ability to put in different figures to see how that changes their budget. So it keeps it on track for them. So they don't have to worry. At any time, they can check and see, well, if that's going to be an extra $100, how does that affect the bottom line?
Right. And like I was with a couple yesterday, and the difference between plated and served and buffet. And, you know, and it's a per person change.
Absolutely.
And so from the budget, you think, well, I have 120 guests. I've just added another $7 to that. Well, you're at $900 by making that change. And using the tool that you just talked about, I mean, that's gold.
I think so, because it lets them know immediately if it's a good idea or not.
Right.
And they can save the information. In fact, they can save 2 full scenarios. They can go back and forth and change as much as they want, but the system will save 2 complete ones, so that if they want to share that budget with somebody else, or the choices that they think they want, there's a way to do it.
So if I'm hearing you correctly, if they're working their budget and the vendors that they've selected and they're unprepared also, they're able to see the changes that they're making in real time?
In real time.
So
They just need to be messaged that
it's happening.
it's happening.
Okay.
Right. Unless they just happen to be on the platform.
At the same time.
Yeah.
So this streamlines a lot.
Yes, it does, because very often, and I'm sure you experience this many times, you want to talk to somebody,
Right.
but they're busy and they just don't have the time. And you can text them and you still may not hear back. But if you put the change that you anticipate on the dashboard for the couple, well then everybody, if they just log on,
Right.
they can see that when the couple has opened that information to them.
Right.
The one important thing, and I think this is really the basis of all the platforms that are in the wedding industry, some are open and some are closed, which
Okay.
means unless you use the couple's password, you can't see anything.
So but you
But
do you have to invite you have to be
Yes,
invited.
all you have to be is invited.
Okay.
And there's
Come to the party.
That's come to the party, and you can have up to 4 proxies, which could be your planner, it could be a mother, it could be even a caterer or your best man or maid of honor. But these are at least 4 people that are designated that they are able to see what you want them to see.
That's interesting because, you know, I'm a firm believer about, you know, having almost like your committee of just very, you know, your beloved,
Right.
and then 1 or maybe 2 max.
And you don't have to have any more.
Okay.
In other words, it's up to you.
Because, you know, it can get a little strange.
Yes, and we all know what weddings by committee are like.
Yes, yes, we do.
It doesn't always work to everybody's benefit.
Right.
But by having a number of proxies, it really does help, because if you want your venue to be able to talk to and see what the changes are as far as in layout and numbers of
Right.
guests without having to call them or
Right.
text them, they can be open to seeing just that information.
So even as a planner, and we love you brides, we do, and grooms and what we call couples, because today everyone is a bride in my world.
Yeah.
Everyone is a bride. This will streamline so much. This will, you can
Yes.
do it anytime. You don't have to be Monday through Friday.
No.
You don't, you know, I know we're late night people, which is, you know, after 8 o'clock. I always say 8 at night until 2 in the morning.
Yep.
Where much planning goes on.
Yes.
And the venue has already left for the
Yes.
day. And you can get a lot of this done. That's
Well,
amazing.
Which is great because, you know, I think we all feel guilty when we are at another job and they're doing surfing.
Right.
And so this isn't necessary. In other words, they have the ability, it's always there for them.
Right.
And the other planning tools, as far as knowing a guest list and a seating chart, all of that is going to be coming online shortly after we go live at the end of January. But the main purpose is if you have the basic tools, which actually prepares them for a planner.
Right.
Because not every couple starts from the beginning with a planner.
Right.
So often they meet the couple part way, maybe after they've met a venue that they really like, or they have their photographer and maybe a florist, whatever. So,
or they realize that this is bigger than they envisioned,
exactly,
and they want a partner to do this with. So I know that this is not our only conversation, that we're going to have many more as each layer of prepared comes on. But the most important thing that we need to know is, how do we get to be prepared?
Well, all you have to do is to go to www.prepared, and it's spelled PREPAIRED.com.
Okay, and they can go on there now?
Yes, and a couple or a vendor or venue can sign up. And
Absolutely.
It'll walk you through the system. And we have questions and answers, obviously. And it takes about a good hour to 2 hours from start to finish to go through the questions. Some couples are very quick, others, are
they're thoughtful questions.
more thoughtful, and they might want to discuss their answers.
So do that as a couple.
That's the whole
couple.
part.
There you go.
Yeah.
So prepared. I am so excited for that.
Thank you. I am too.
I think the best part is, having known you all of these years, is to watch your journey.
Oh,
it's
thank
been an
you.
amazing journey. It's been a heartfelt journey, and most of all, it has been a journey of service, of
you.
true, honest service. And I know your journey's just begun. This is like the next chapter. So, we talk about the road less traveled.
Yes.
Well, we've traveled the road, so now we're going to blaze a new trail, and you've blazed a beautiful trail.
Thank you.
For couples to come. So, from Late Night Bride, from Toby Dodge, Peggy Kelly, Late Night Bride, we just want to let you know there is a solution, and it's not being online. It is being online for a short period of time so that you can get prepared. And once you're prepared, guess what? You get to be in your engagement. So that's our goal from Late Night Bride, from Peggy and Toby. What we'd really love you to do, just go fall in love, have the best time ever, be engaged, but most of all, have fun. So from our hearts to yours, from Late Night Bride, Toby Dodge, Peggy Kelly, be prepared, but most of all, be engaged. We'll see you next time.